Welcome and thank you for joining us. You are watching Millennium News Hour and I am Tanzeeba Noreen. Today we have brought up and trending news from across the nation and the world. Let's begin with the headlines. Jury begins deliberations in New York hush money case. White House says Israel's Rafah strike and ground assault don't cross Biden's red line. US pledges $135 million in aid to Western-leaning Moldova to counter Russian influence. Several injured as gas leak explosion blows out first floor of Ohio building. Melinda French Gates says she is donating $1 billion in support of women families. Two giant pandas will arrive at DC's National Zoo this year, officials say. Wisconsin house explosion kills one and authorities say reported gunfire was likely ignited ammunition. North Korea sends balloons filled with waste into the south. Pakistan bus crash kills at least 27 people, hospital says. World's first wooden satellite built by Japan researchers. Alcaraz survives scare at French Open. And Josh Gibson becomes MLB career and season batting leader as Negro Leagues Statistics Incorporated. You were listening to Headlines, now news in detail. Jury deliberations began Wednesday morning in New York prosecutors' case against Donald Trump, the first criminal trial involving a former president. During jury instructions, which took a little over an hour, Merchan explained the laws in question and reminded jurors to set aside any personal biases. He also noted that the defense is not required to prove Trump's innocence. The burden of proof is on the prosecution. Jurors won't receive a written copy of the instructions, though they will be permitted to ask for them to be read back if needed. Many of the jurors took diligent notes as Merchan spoke. The jury will discuss the 34 counts of falsified business records former President Donald Trump faces in connection with the hush money payment to adult film actor Stormy Daniels near the end of the 2016 presidential campaign. Trump has pleaded not guilty to the charges. Court resumed around 10 a.m. today instead of the regular 9:30 a.m. after a marathon 11-hour day yesterday. The judge had said yesterday the proceedings will conclude at 4:30 p.m. Merchan said the schedule for tomorrow and Friday will depend on the status of jury deliberations. As Israeli forces pushed deeper into Rafah just days after an airstrike sparked a major fire that killed dozens of Palestinians, the White House said that its ally had not crossed the Biden administration's red line. Israeli tanks were seen entering central Rafah for the first time Tuesday as global condemnation mounted over the deaths in a crowded tent camp for displaced civilians and as US aid deliveries to Gaza by sea were suspended after damage to its temporary pier. And on Wednesday, the country's national security advisor said that he expected the war to continue through the end of the year. But National Security Council spokesman John Kirby told reporters at a briefing that the United States was not turning a blind eye to Israel's operations in the southern Gaza city, from which around 1 million Palestinians have fled in recent weeks. He said the Biden administration did not believe Israel's actions in Rafah so far represented a major ground operation that would violate President Joe Biden's warnings and trigger a change in U.S. policy, including a threatened halt to weapons shipments. A major ground operation is, thousands and thousands of troops moving in a maneuvered, concentrated, coordinated way against a variety of targets on the ground, he said. U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken on Wednesday pledged $135 million in aid to Moldova for energy security and to counter Russian disinformation as the Western-leaning nation struggles to blunt Moscow's push for influence that's been buoyed by recent successes in its war in neighboring Ukraine. Blinken opened a short visit to Eastern Europe with a stop in Chisinau, Moldova's capital, where he announced the assistance at a news conference with President Maia Sandu. America's top diplomat said $85 million would go to bolster energy infrastructure and $50 million was aimed at overhauling the energy and farming industries and deterring disinformation. That in turn will bolster the ability of Moldovans to resist Russian interference, to hold free and fair elections, to continue down the path to the European Union and Western integration, to create more economic opportunity, Blinken said. He planned to travel to the Czech Republic later. Before Wednesday, the U.S. had provided Moldova with $774 million in financial aid since the Ukraine war began in February 2022. Some $300 million of that was earmarked for energy security. A gas leak appears to have caused a large explosion in downtown Youngstown, Ohio, on Tuesday afternoon, reportedly blowing out the bottom floor of a 13-story building and injuring at least 7 people. The first floor of the building, which houses a Chase Bank, appears to have been destroyed. 2 people, a man and a woman, were unaccounted for after the blast that occurred around 3 p.m., Youngstown Fire Chief Barry Finley told reporters at the scene. The man is believed to have worked for the bank, Finley said. A sheriff's department drone was sent into the basement of the building, but there was little that could be seen, he said. The floors collapsed in on itself. There's nothing to see, so honestly we don't know if that person is down there or not, Finley said. Mercy Health Hospital was treating 7 patients, one of whom was in critical condition, hospital spokesperson Jennifer Robinson said in a statement. She said the hospital was monitoring the situation and engaging with local emergency management officials responding to the scene. We will be back after a short break. Till then, stay with us. This world continuously revolving around various events. Every minute, every second, something is happening somewhere around the globe, and you want to get connected to that event or to that specific moment. Here we come, Millennium News Hour, to get you connected with top USA and international trending news, which includes local news, political news, world news, business news, health and science-related news, entertainment news, sports news, and so on. Millennium News 24 is transmitted and available to be watched free for OLED TVs such as Sony, Samsung, LG, Roku TV, Amazon TV, and Apple TV, and also in all European countries and Australia available with Sky Network, Worldwide Jago TV, Radiant IPTV, Worldwide Jago BD Network, and Horizon Satellite globally. Stay connected with Millennium News Hour to get the world news on your feed. Welcome back to Millennium News Hour. Melinda French Gates has announced that she will donate $1 billion over the next 2 years to people and organizations working on behalf of women and families, including on reproductive rights. In an op-ed published in the New York Times on Tuesday, French Gates said she felt compelled to support abortion rights in the United States after the U.S. Supreme Court's 2022 decision to overturn Roe v. Wade. For too long, a lack of money has forced organizations fighting for women's rights into a defensive posture while the enemies of progress play offense. I want to help even the match, French Gates wrote. French Gates said the U.S. continues to have unconscionable rates of maternal mortality, particularly among Black and Native American women, while the number of teenage girls experiencing suicidal thoughts and persistent feelings of sadness and hopelessness is at a decade high. Despite the pressing need, only about 2% of charitable giving in the United States goes to organizations focused on women and girls, and only about half a percentage point goes to organizations focused on women of color specifically, she wrote. French Gates also expressed dismay with those who say it is not the right time to talk about gender equality. Giant pandas will return to the National Zoo in Washington, D.C. this year, officials announced Wednesday. Two 2-year-old pandas, Bao Li and Xing Bao, will arrive at the Smithsonian National Zoo and Conservation Biology Institute by the end of the year. In a partnership with the China Wildlife Conservation Association, the zoo said in a press release, bringing cuddly joy to bear lovers across the country. First Lady Jill Biden partnered with National Zoo Director Brandy Smith and Smithsonian Secretary Lonnie G. Bunch III to announce the exciting news in a video Wednesday, joking about preparing for 2 special guests at the White House. We can't wait to celebrate this historic moment here in our nation's capital. Join us, it's official. The pandas are coming back to DC, she said. Bao Li, a male whose name means treasure and energetic in Mandarin Chinese, and Xing Bao, a female whose name means green and treasure, were both born at the China Conservation and Research Center for the giant panda in Sichuan. Animal lovers will be able to visit the bears for free at the zoo or watch their antics on the Panda Cam, which will relaunch at the zoo when the new pandas make their public debut. One person died when a house exploded in southern Wisconsin, and authorities believe gunfire reported by neighbors happened when flames set off ammunition stored inside the home, police said. Sheriff's deputies and firefighters responded about 11 p.m. Tuesday after the house exploded just outside the city of Middleton, said Elise Schaffer, a spokesperson for the Dane County Sheriff's Office. One person was killed and the county medical examiner's office is investigating, Schaffer said Wednesday. Images posted by local media show the ruined home in flames after the explosion, which left a window and other debris scattered nearby. The cause of the explosion remains under investigation, she said. Middleton is about 6 miles northwest of Madison. We will be back after a short break. Till then, stay with us. This world continuously revolving around various events. Every minute, every second, something is happening somewhere around the globe, and you want to get connected to that event or to that specific moment. Here we come, Millennium News Hour, to get you connected with top USA and international trending news, which includes local news, political news, world news, business news, health and science-related news, entertainment news, sports news, and so on. Millennium News 24 is transmitted and available to be watched free for OLED TVs such as Sony, Samsung, LG, Roku TV, Amazon TV and Apple TV, and also in all European countries and Australia available with Sky Network, Worldwide Jago TV, Radiant IPTV, Worldwide Jago BD Network and Horizon Satellite globally. Stay connected with Millennium News Hour to get the world news on your feed. Welcome back to Millennium News Hour. Now it's time for global updates. West and propaganda are raining down across the Korean peninsula. It's not the cross-border barrage South Koreans have been fearing, but the country's military said Wednesday that its nuclear-armed neighbor had launched more than 200 balloons across the border overnight carrying trash, bottles, old batteries, leaflets, fertilizer, and other waste. The balloons are found primarily in the border provinces of Gyeonggi and Gangwon, but were also seen hundreds of miles south in South Gyeongsang. South Korea sent out a government emergency disaster alert urging citizens to refrain from touching the objects and to report any more incidents to the military. Response teams were dispatched to identify what exactly was in the balloons, which confirmed the inclusion of fertilizers. South Korea's defense ministry said that no human waste was found, but said that North Korea did send human waste via balloon in 2016. North Korea often uses human feces as fertilizer. Photographs released by the South Korean military showed inflated balloons anchored with plastic bags full with garbage. Other images appeared to show trash scattered around collapsed balloons, with the word excrement written on a bag in one photograph. At least 27 people were killed on Wednesday when a bus plunged off the road into a deep ravine in southwestern Pakistan, hospital and government officials said. The crash happened around dawn in Basima town in Balochistan province while the bus was traveling from Turbad city to Quetta. The driver was navigating a turn in a mountainous area when the vehicle lost control and fell into a ravine. Ismail Mengal, a local government official, said, giving a total of 27 dead. We are still investigating the cause of the incident. It could be that the driver fell asleep or was speeding, which led to the accident. More than 25 others, including the driver, were injured. Nurullah, chief doctor at Civil Hospital Basima, told media that 27 bodies were taken there, including 3 women and 2 children. Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif has expressed deep sorrow and grief over the tragic traffic accident, his office said in a statement. The world's first wooden satellite has been built by Japanese researchers who said their tiny cuboid craft will be blasted off on a SpaceX rocket in September. Each side of the experimental satellite developed by scientists at Kyoto University and logging company Sumitomo Forestry measures just 10 centimeters. The creators expect the wooden material will burn up completely when the device re-enters the atmosphere, potentially providing a way to avoid the generation of metal particles when a retired satellite returns to Earth. These metal particles could have a negative impact on the environment and telecommunications, the developers said as they announced the satellite's completion on Tuesday. Satellites that are not made of metal should become mainstream. Takao Doi, an astronaut and a special professor at Kyoto University, told a press conference. The developers plan to hand the satellite, made from magnolia wood and named Lignosat, to space agency JAXA next week. It will be sent into space on a SpaceX rocket from the Kennedy Space Center in September, bound for the International Space Stations, they said. We will be back after a short break. Till then, stay with us. This world continuously revolving around various events. Every minute, every second, something is happening somewhere around the globe, and you want to get connected to that event or to that specific moment. Here we come, Millennium News Hour, to get you connected with top USA and international trending news, which includes local news, political news, world news, business news, health and science-related news, entertainment news, sports news, and so on. Millennium News 24 is transmitted and available to be watched free for OLED TVs such as Sony, Samsung, LG, Roku TV, Amazon TV and Apple TV, and also in all European countries and Australia available with Sky Network, Worldwide Jago TV, Radiant IPTV, Worldwide Jago BD Network and Horizon Satellite globally. Stay connected with Millennium News Hour to get the world news on your feast. Welcome back to Millennium News Hour. Now it's time for business news. Today's New York stock close price is 18,007.01. The NYSE Composite is decreased by 103.59 points or 0.57%. Tokyo stock close price is 38,556.87. The Nikkei 225 index decreased by 298.50 points or 0.77%. Shanghai stock close price is 3,111.02. The Shanghai index is increased by 1.45 points or 0.05%. Hong Kong stock close price is 18,477.01. The Hang Seng index decreased by 344.15 points or 1.83%. Bombay stock close price is 74,502.90. The Sensex index decreased by 667.55 points or 0.89%. Let's have a look on today's sports stories. World number 3 Carlos Alcaraz survived a huge scare at the hands of 176th ranked Dutch qualifier Jesper de Jong to reach the third round after a 4-set triumph on Wednesday. Wimbledon champion Alcaraz, who made the semi-finals at Roland Garros last year, scrambled to a 6-3, 6-4, 2-6, 6-2 second-round victory over a player taking part in only his second Grand Slam main draw. The 21-year-old Spaniard was broken 5 times and hit 47 unforced errors before De Jong, playing his 5th match at the tournament, eventually wilted under the roof of court Philippe Chatrier. "Every player can cause you trouble," said Alcaraz. "You have to be focused in every round, have to play at your best. It doesn't matter what the ranking is. Jesper has the work and level to break into the top 100. Alcaraz goes on to face either American 27th seed Sebastian Korda or South Korea's Kwon Soon-woo for a place in the last 16. Josh Gibson became Major League Baseball's career leader with a .372 batting average, surpassing Ty Cobb's .367. When Negro League's records for more than 2,300 players were incorporated Tuesday after a 3-year research project. Gibson's .466 average for the 1943 Homestead Grays became the season standard, followed by Charlie Chino Smith's .451 for the 1929 New York Lincoln Giants. They overtook the .440 by Hugh Duffy for the National League's Boston team in 1894. Gibson also became the career leader in slugging percentage .718 and OPS 1.177, moving ahead of Babe Ruth .690 and 1.164. It's a show of respect for great players who performed in the Negro Leagues due to circumstances beyond their control, and once those circumstances changed, demonstrated that they were truly major leaguers, Baseball Commissioner Rob Manfred said Wednesday in an interview with the Associated Press. Maybe the single biggest factor was the success of players who played in the Negro Leagues and then came to the big leagues. Let's have a look on today's weather forecast. Before finishing today's news, let's hear out the headlines again. Jury begins deliberations in New York hush money case. White House says Israel's Rafah strike and ground assault don't cross Biden's red line. US pledges $135 million in aid to Western-leaning Moldova to counter Russian influence. Several injured as gas leak explosion blows out first floor of Ohio building. Melinda French Gates says she is donating $1 billion in support of women families. Two giant pandas will arrive at DC's National Zoo this year, officials say. Wisconsin house explosion kills one and authorities say reported gunfire was likely ignited ammunition. North Korea sends balloons filled with waste into the south. Pakistan bus crash kills at least 27 people, hospital says. World's first wooden satellite built by Japan researchers. Alcaraz survives scare at French Open. And Josh Gibson becomes MLB career and season batting leader as Negro Leagues Statistics Incorporated. That's all for today. Keep watching Millennium News Hour for latest news update. To stay updated, like our Facebook page, subscribe our YouTube channel and visit our website. Our website address is www.millenniumnews24.com. Millennium News 24 is transmitted and available to be watched free for all the TVs such as Sony, Samsung, LG, Roku TV, Amazon TV and Apple TV, and also in all European countries and Australia, available with the Sky Network, Worldwide Jagu TV, Radiant IPTV, Worldwide Jagu BD Network and Horizon Satellite globally. Stay connected with us for all the latest news worldwide. Thank you.